Well, tonight, a new apology over this body of water. Months after we discovered the creek's offensive name on government documents, the federal government says it is sorry for a major mistake. And there's a new push to finally get the name Negro Head Creek erased for good. WBTV's Steve Crump has the story all new at 6.
This Union County tributary suffers from an issue of identity. Some modern-day maps designate the stream by its proper name of Salem Creek, but a current trail of local, state, and federal documents still refers to the waters by another title. Despite repeated efforts, the offensive title of Negro Head Creek has yet to go away.
We need to arrive at a point where those kinds of things just are not sanctioned by the state anymore.
State Representative Kelly Alexander Jr. is writing new legislation in an attempt to have the past name removed from all state documents.
This ought to be something that just gets done because it needs to be done.
28 years ago, Union County Commissioners voted for the name change and were told by the U.S. Geological Survey that it was a done deal. But present-day web pages from the USGS call the creek the full-blown N-word.
I'm very offended, mainly because we shouldn't have to see this anymore.
Local NAACP President Kojo Natambu is even more disappointed by the response offered from the USGS, which says in part, "It seems that there are only a few inadvertent errors on USGS products. We regret any errors that did occur."
Very divisive, very negative, very retro, and it takes you back to a place where we thought we had left some years ago.
My guess would be that the people who named it didn't even think much about it.
The name can be traced to the mid-1800s. That's when riders of the Pony Express shuttled mail to a place in Union County known as Negro Head Depot.
Clearly, at this time, in this space, today, one has to look at any term that is used and be sensitive to the values that we now have.
And that's the point Kelly Alexander wants to make.
It's not a partisan issue. It's an issue of let's bring North Carolina completely into the 21st century.
Absolutely. Steve joins us live right now. Now, Steve, you broke this story. You've been following it for months. Is the name of this creek finally going to be changed?
Paul, it looks like a series of baby steps. I talked with Kelly Alexander late this afternoon. Apparently that bill is headed for bill drafting, could be assigned to a committee as early as next week. He's gotten co-sponsorship for it, even bipartisan support. Meanwhile, on the federal side, we contacted the USGS. You see the apology there, but the question tonight is, when will they take it from their official documents?
Yeah, it just seems like such a simple thing they're making so difficult. Steve, thank you very much. I know you'll stay on top of this. Molly?
Tonight, a WBTV investigation that began more than 6 months ago is getting results.
A federal agency has now changed the offensive name of a Union County creek on its maps. And a bill in the North Carolina House would also erase the name of Negro Head Creek from all state documents. All new at 6, WBTV Steve Crump finds resolution to racially tinged controversy that began decades ago.
Changing the inflammatory title of this tributary on state and federal documents is an exercise in cutting through red tape.
Well, I was really upset about it because, here's something that is clearly offensive to everyone.
The creek can be found in the heart of Richard Hudson's 8th Congressional District in Union County. After learning that the full-blown N-word appears on government websites, the congressman approached the director of the U.S. Geological Survey to remove it.
Well, we've gotten assurances from the folks in Washington that they've gone back and scrubbed their list. We actually had them make a change to what's online.
USGS websites now use the title Salem Creek, which is the same name county commissioners agreed to back in 1985.
It's time for those kinds of things to go away.
North Carolina House Bill 636, sponsored by Kelly Alexander Jr., attempts to do just that by recommending that Negro Head Creek be renamed Salem Creek on all state documents. It passed the House by a vote of 115 to nothing.
And at least by passing this through the General Assembly, a very clear message is going to be sent to the state people that enough is enough.
I will support Representative Alexander on the bill.
State Senator Malcolm Graham plans to speak on the proposal once it's up for debate. Meanwhile, Congressman Hudson has one simple wish.
But we need to make sure that Salem Creek stays Salem Creek.
No word when the North Carolina Senate will make its final vote regarding the name change. And with passage of the bill, this time state lawmakers are hoping the title and the stigma will go away once and for all. Steve Crump, WBTV, on your side.
Steve, thank you. That bill at this point is resting with the state Senate Committee on State and Local Government.
WBTV getting results from an On Your Side investigation. The North Carolina legislature just passed a bill asking all state and federal agencies to remove the term Negro Head Creek from all official documents. Lawmakers took up the bill after we reported the offensive term was still being used by many agencies. WBTV's Steve Crump broke this story. He brings us this follow-up.
The ripple effects of this creek can be felt from Union County to the halls of Raleigh.
Negro Head Creek. We're changing it to Salem Creek.
Joel Ford moved House Bill 636 onto the floor of the North Carolina Senate.
48 having voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. House Bill 636 passes its second reading without objection.
Is this about respect?
Certainly it is.
28 years ago, B. Colson pushed Union County commissioners to change the name to Salem Creek. That's when they agreed to ask the federal government and the state of North Carolina to get rid of the offensive term.
We know the pain, we know the experience that went on.
The pain resurfaced after learning that government agencies had not corrected many official documents. And in some instances, the feds referred to the creek with the full-blown N-word.
We want this straightened out as quickly as possible.
And that was the goal of Representative Alexander's bill.
The vote in the North Carolina House and Senate to back the name change was unanimous. And even with approval of the legislation, there is still the potential that the offensive name of the past can show up on future documents.
It's really unfortunate that we have to legislate the bureaucracy here in Raleigh, but that's what we had to do.
For B. Colson, who is a retired principal, it is another lesson in learning.
We can't change history, but we can move forward.
The next step in erasing the stigma from these waters comes when the governor signs the bill passed by the North Carolina House and Senate. Steve Crump, WBTV on your side, Union County.